testimony from the President of the United States.
And Kerry, the Attorney General said that Special Counsel Mueller highlighted 10 instances for the obstruction charge, and that he and Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein didn't necessarily agree with Mueller's interpretation of his legal theories in terms of whether or not it was obstruction, and ultimately concluded there was insufficient evidence. But I know we're all going to be trying to look at what those 10 instances were when we actually get the Mueller report.
Exactly. We're going to look at what is the factual scenario that the special counsel laid out, and was the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General's judgment as a matter of law correct? And so we'll be able to see that. But I have to say, the Attorney General had an opportunity this morning to rise above the politics and to adhere to institutional Justice Department, just sticking to what the process was that he was supposed to talk about and which he said he was actually talking about, and he blew it. I mean, he just came out, and to say that the president took, quote, no act that deprived the investigation of witnesses or documents, when, as Jeffrey just said, the president, like other presidents have in the past with investigations, been willing to be interviewed by the special counsel's team, in addition to all the things that the president tweeted against witnesses and people who were involved in the case that could potentially be taken by them as aggressive or intimidating. It's just not a true statement what the Attorney General said just now. And that piece, he should have stuck to the process, because on the process, he actually is being consistent with his commitment to transparency. We'll see the report, but he says he's giving most of it to members of Congress, even the information that is redacted in the public report. Congress will then be able to go and challenge the 6E information in court if they choose to. So he should have stuck to the process.
And we should point out, Kerry, that before the press conference, you were praising Attorney General Barr, saying that if he does what he says he's going to do and just outline in the spirit of transparency, executive privilege, the interactions with the White House and the redaction process, it's great. You were applauding him.
If he I have given him the benefit of the doubt. If he would have stuck to the actual process, then I think he would have risen above the politics of it, and he would have been able to say that he is just performing his role as Attorney General. These gratuitous statements about the media, the gratuitous statements about the way the president has been impacted by the investigation, that was completely inappropriate for the Attorney General.
And Laura, I have to say, I mean, 6 or 7 times saying the same sentence over and over and over. And look, theoretically, the American people should be happy that there is no evidence that Mueller could find. Mueller, a highly respected investigator and law enforcement official, he could not find sufficient evidence that there was conspiracy by any American knowingly or by any member of the Trump team. That's great news. But Barr repeating it over and over and over again, 6 or 7 times, I mean, that's a little excessive, even in Washington, D.C., where people stay on message like it's a mantra.
It was excessive and suspicious to be pounding the table and pounding over the American people's head, particularly if the looming question for many is, okay, if that was the case, then why were there so many lies told after the fact? But also, with the first 10 minutes of his entire discussion, I thought to